Let me introduce myself once again. My name is Vineet and I'll be the instructor for all of you. So we went through a class that held on Tuesday that was on few basics of Java, that is JRE, JDK, if else construct. These kinds of concepts were covered in that class. We covered switch as well. So all of you please write down on the chat window, did you attend the assignments that were given on the LMS? Did you go through them? It was unlocked that particular night. Irfan says yes sir. Vineet says no. Mohsin says yes. Sarita says yes. Shrikant no. Alia says, I missed the first class. Please do give little help in between. Absolutely, Alia. That is why what we have done, we have created a Facebook group for all of you, okay? First of all, you can just contact us on the support email ID that is available for you. The other platform that we made for you is a Facebook group, okay? Most of you would have received the invitation for the group, or I'll just show you at the end of the class where to find it and what is the name of the group, okay? So there you can post in your queries and we'll be there to help you, okay? Okay then, so I'd suggest each and every one of you to go through the assignments that are given, okay? After every class we unlock the assignments, so you should attempt those assignments so that you can concrete your concepts, okay, that you learn in this particular class. You should know how to implement them. That is why those assignments have been provided to you, okay? Okay, then we come on to today's class now. In today's class we'll be going through, Amardeep says okay, sure sir. Now in today's class we'll be going through Java constructors, and we'll be going through the loops that are available in Java, that is for loop, while loop and do while loop, and the final topic that we will cover would be let's keep that a mystery, okay? Okay then, so starting with the class now, but before that one more thing I would like to share with all of you, that is the course coordinator, okay? The course coordinator for your comprehensive Java course is Bhavna, okay? In case you have any query related to the course, send her an email stating your query. You shall receive the solution right away. So this is the email ID with which you can connect with Bhavna, okay? And if you have query regarding any other course that is present in Edureka, you can just send a request and an email to Bhavna and she will be the best person to help you out, okay? So I guess I'm quite clear to you. For any query that you have related to course, this course or any other course, you can send an email to her and she'll give you the reply. She'll give you the solution. Moving on, what is a constructor? A constructor is used in the creation of an object, okay? I told you in the last class that you create a class first of all, and you have different things within your class like variables, you have got methods in it. So whatever things that are present in a particular class, in order to use them you need to create an object, okay? You can consider a class as a blueprint, and using that blueprint you create different kinds of many objects, okay? Now how these objects are created using that blueprint? It is created by using the constructor. As the name suggests, it actually constructs the object according to the class. So a constructor is used in the creation of an object. It is a special method with no return type, okay? Like if you declare a method, there should be a return type that either a method returns an integer value, a method can return a string value, or if a method is returning nothing, if a method is not returning anything, in that case you place a void keyword. That means it is not returning anything. But in case of a constructor, you never write anything, okay? You just leave the return type part, because you do not have to mention it. It is a constructor is not a method. You can term it as a special method, but actually it is not a method. Now must have the same name as the class it is in. Like you are creating a class with my name, let's say Vineet. The name of the class is Vineet and you have to declare a constructor for that. Now if you're declaring the constructor, the name of that constructor should be Vineet itself. That is what is written, must have the same name as the class it is in. We come to the fourth one, that is, it is used to initialize the object, okay? If you want to initialize values that are present with the variables that are actually present with the object, then in that case you'll have to use a constructor and you can initialize the value of that particular object. And say, does a constructor actually returns anything to the system? No, a constructor actually does not return anything. Okay, it is just used to initialize the values. It is used to create an object similar to on the blueprint of a class. Okay, according to the class, it creates an object of that class. Is that clear? Okay. Now, if not defined, will initialize all instance variables to default value. Okay. If you do not initialize a constructor, it is not important that you have to initialize. If you do not do it, what happens? It takes a default value. Okay. If you do not mention a constructor, it is by default and creates the object with the default values. Now let's see a small code. Okay, a snippet. This was a class that was created, class 2. Okay, and within that you have got two variables x and y. Within that you create a method that is, this is not a method, this is a constructor, because it does not have a return type. So you create a constructor within that class 2 with the parenthesis, you open up the braces, and what you're doing, you're actually initializing the value of x and y. That is, you're giving the value 10 to x and giving the value 11 to y. Now right here you have got another class that is public class, class 1. Now within that you have your main method. In the main method you are creating an object of this class, that is class 2. You are writing the name of the class first of all. Okay, Vineet says your voice is breaking, so all of you please write down on the chat window, are you facing the same problem? Okay, I received no. Only Srikanth is the one who is supporting you, Vineet, so I guess it is the problem with you guys only. So just check your internet connection. Okay, let's continue with the class. Now what you did, you actually created an object using the name of the class. You wrote the name of the class as class 2. You gave a name of the object, that is OB equals to new class 2 with the parenthesis. This way you created the object. Now using this object you are using the instance variables. What are instance variables? This x and y, this will be considered as the instance variable of this object. Because in class you have declared two variables right here. Now when you create the object of this class, the variables that were present in the class are also attached with your object, hence they are termed as instance objects. Okay, so what do? You write ob.x. okay, you are printing the value of x, and you are writing ob.y. that means you are printing the value of y. So whenever you execute this statement, what it will do? Okay, Mohsin says, I'm also facing the same problem. Ankur says audio is being interrupted. Okay, just check it out once again, guys. I guess it would be fine now. Mayank says 10 and 11, exactly correct, because we are initializing, we are calling the constructor that is defined right here, which is actually placing the value 10 to x and giving the value 11 to y variable. So let's check it on Eclipse. I've got examples for you already done. So I have a project right here, so I'm sure in the last class you were clear how to create projects as well as how to create the new classes. So we have got two classes right here, class 1 and class 2 as given in the example. Okay, so first of all I'll just comment this part, just don't look at it and you'll understand why I did it. Okay, so in class 2, first of all we go here. In class 2 we have got the same variable x and y, and we are initializing the value of x by 10 and y by 11 in the constructor class 2. If you see the constructor, you only have this public, that means this constructor can be called publicly. The access modifier for a constructor is always public like this. Okay, Amir says, when we create variables in a class, is it created as private or public? Amir, it depends on you. Okay, as a general, when you do not mention anything, that variable is actually created as default one. That means all the classes that are present in the same package can access the variable. Is that clear, Amir? Okay, Hardik says, Vineet, I have got a query. Can you please explain what's difference between object and instance? Now, object of a class and instance of a class are the same thing. Okay, Hardik, they are the two words for the same thing. Instance of a class is the same, and object of a class is also the same thing. Now, when you consider the instance variables actually refer to the variables that were declared in the class, and you access those variables using the object of that particular class. Okay, hence it is called instance variables. Using instance, you are using those variables. Is that clear, Hardik? Sai says by default are the variables public or private. Now by default they are neither public nor private. That means your variable could be accessed by all the classes that are present in the same package. Now what is package? We'll be going through that in the next class. Okay, Sai? Okay, says thank you. Irfan says later please explain protected specifier. We'll be coming to access modifiers in the next class. Irfan, you'll have to be patient. Is that clear? We'll be dealing with that absolutely, but not now. Okay. Now, is my voice clear now, guys? Please write down on the chat window. I'm sure it is fine, right? Okay, I receive yeses. That's good. Vineet says no. Vineet, because everyone is saying yes and you are the only one who is saying no. Right. So I guess there's a problem with your internet. Okay then. Now I was explaining that public class, this is the constructor in that you are initializing the value of x and y. Okay, Vineet is saying 3 Mbps connection lol. Exactly. Your internet speed is good, but I don't know why you are facing the problem then. Alia says, would really appreciate that. Your voice is clear. I'm nobody to all this. New to all this, so please make things a little simple. Exactly, Alia, I'll make that simple. Shrikant says I have 100 Mbps. I don't think so, Shrikant. That is the maximum limit of your LAN wire, not your internet speed. Okay? Okay then. So after initializing, we come to the second class that we created, that is class 1. In class 1, in the main method, what we did, we actually created the object of class 2, which is right here, class 2 OB new class 2. Now whenever you create a class, what happens, you actually create a constructor. So first of all, I'll show you the default constructor. Okay, I'll just comment this part. That means if I'm commenting these lines, it is not used, it is not executed. Now in the second class, we have got only two variables, x and y. Now we come here, we call the constructor. In the second class, we haven't defined any constructor, even though it is fine, it is not giving me an error, because whenever you do not define a constructor for a class, it takes the default constructor and initializes the values by default values. So if I save the file and run this code, control F11, I receive 0 and 0 because the default value of integer variables is 0. If you do not provide any value to the integer variable, it will store 0 values. So whenever you create the object, you call the constructor class 2, which is the default one. What it does, it assigns 0 value to x and 0 value to y. Now whenever you print it right here, you're printing the value of x and y. Now this is the way by which you can print string plus you can print the number. So what I did, string has to go in quotes, and you add a plus sign, and then you write the variable that has to be printed, which is ob.x. That means using the object, you are printing the value of x. In the second line, using the object, you are printing the value of y right here. So all of you, are you clear with the default constructor? Whenever you do not define a constructor, how does it work? Please write down on the chat window, then I'll come with the user defined constructor. Okay, good. That's good if you are clear with it. Then we come back here. I just uncomment these lines. So I press Control F7, Control 7 again. Now, what we did, we defined a constructor, the same one, like it is not taking an input, it is not taking any parameters, it is empty, and a constructor does not return anything, hence there is no return type. Now we have initialized the value of x by 10 and the value of y by 10. Now the code will remain the same in the class 2. I'm not changing a bit, but since you defined a constructor on your own, this time the values will be, can you tell me, if I run this code, what will be the values this time? Okay, Sarita says 10 and 11, Amit says 10 and 11, Sai says 10 and 11, Ashraf says 10 and 11, Mayank, Anurag, Gulzar, Alia, Hardik, Roshan, Lokesh, Irfan, Shailen, Vineet. Everyone says 10 and 11, and if I run the code, the system also says that the value of x will be 10 and the value of y would be 11. That is, value of x when constructor is called is 10 and the value of y when constructor is called is 11. Okay. So I guess you are now clear with the user defined constructors. Now we will learn one more concept in constructors. So I'll just get back to the presentation and I come to constructor overloading. Alia says right, exactly right. Now we come to constructor overloading. What does the term actually indicate? What can you understand by the term constructor overloading? Any one of you can tell me in just English, according to the English word, what is the meaning of overloading? What does that mean? Give me a general meaning, not technical. Alia says if something exceeds. Okay, Irfan says same name, different function. Okay, Samir says something name but different. Vineet says extra work. Exactly, good. That's the correct answer. Extra work, something extra, overloading. You're overloading something. Nikhil says it behaves differently in different circumstances. Hardik says class with same name. Shrikant says excessive usage. Okay. Amit says when constructor name are same but argument passed are different. Okay, that's correct, Amit. Raghu says no idea. Lokesh says overloading means loading of functions. Okay, that's good. Not just the functions, Lokesh. Right here we are overloading a constructor. Now you can even overload a constructor. What does that mean? That means you have your class 2, you define two variables as you did the last time, and one constructor was there which was initializing the value of x by 10 and y by 10. There was another constructor which was taking an input, that is, it was taking an input z, an integer z. Now whenever you pass that number, this z was assigned to x and y, both of them. Now in the class 1, in the main function, what you did, you created the object of class 2 using the first constructor first of all, that is class 2. So it actually calls this one and initializes the value of x by 10 and the value of y by 11. Now we again create the object for the class 2 by using the second constructor which was taking an integer as the parameter. So it calls the second one and initializes the value of x by 5 and the value of y by 5. So that means you can have multiple constructors. That is, overloading means you have got the same name. So you are overloading something on the same name. So all of you, are you clear with the concept of constructor overloading? Then I'll show you on Eclipse how to use it. Amir says, is constructor overloading done runtime or not? Exactly, it is done runtime. It gets executed during runtime, Amir. Okay, I receive all the S's. What about Sarah? I haven't heard a word from her. So if you would have understood, please write down on the chat window. Okay, I receive yeses from everyone. Nikhil says if you have another constructor that just initialized x, then I'm still trying to, Alia says. Nikhil, can you just complete your question? Vineet says, is it necessary to instantiate every constructor? No, it is not necessary. That is why I showed you in the beginning that whenever you do not define a constructor, it makes the default one. It is not necessary to define a constructor. Okay, public in z, x equals to z. That is fine. You are initializing the value of x, y won't be initialized. Okay. Okay, Raghu says why the new keyword is used with class 2. New keyword actually allocates memory for your object. Okay. So this is the new word. It is allocating memory for your object. Alia says so it depends on the name. If we have different names, overloading won't happen. Exactly correct. If you have different names, there will be different things. Okay. So overloading means on the same thing. If you, like say Alia, you have a load on your head of 5 kg, right? There is a friend of yours who is standing in besides you. So if I have got another 5 kg load, if I keep that load as well on your head, then I'll be overloading you. But if I give it to your friend, then I'm not overloading. I hope I'm clear to you now. Okay. Science says what happens if there are two constructors without any parameters like class 2 and class 2. I'll just show you, don't you worry. Science, okay. I'll just show you an eclipse. If necessary to write public every time in the constructor. Okay, these are all practical related questions. Let's open eclipse and I'll show you everything that you want. Now first of all the public one. I'll just remove this public. It does not matter. It won't give you an error. Okay, Amit? I hope it answers your question now. Now I'll just see. Okay, Mayank says why the object has been named as OB for constructors. Okay. You do not like OB? Then what I'll do, I'll make it Mayank for you. So this time our object name is Mayank. So I'll call Mayank.x. And in the second one also I'll call Mayank.y. Is that fine, Mayank? Have you understood? For both constructors, it depends, okay? It is up to you. Okay, you want to make, Mayank says okay. Now if you are saying that you want to name the same object with different constructors, you cannot name, the name of the two objects cannot be same. Okay, you have to give different names. Any other question? Is it necessary to write public every time? I've given the answer to this. Okay, Sai, I come to Sai questions, that is, what happens if there are two constructors without any parameters like class 2 and class 2? What he's trying to say is, I come here, we have got one constructor, I'll copy this, and he's saying that we have got one more constructor. So, Sai, as you can see, it will definitely give you an error, because you cannot define the same thing with the same parameters. You can overload it, but you cannot override it like this. Is that clear, Sai? Please write down on the chat window. Sai says clear. Okay. It is simply two different objects. In class 1 different and class 2 different. Exactly, Alia, you are correct. I'll just see few more questions. Then what's the point in initiating class 2 5? Vineet, can you just repeat your question and just describe it more so that I can understand? Okay. Now Nikhil was trying to say, I'll come to your question, Nikhil, just a minute. Okay, int z and xz. Okay. We'll come to that part. And Vineet and Nikhil, you can just write it again. Vineet says you have defined two objects, right? Yes. Why? Okay. Because I wanted to show you the two constructors. Right here, we have defined only one object till now. Okay, there are no two objects. The name of the object is Mayank right here. Now in the second one, what I'll do, I'll call another constructor. I'll make another constructor, that is public class 2 control 7. Now this constructor is taking a parameter that is an integer value, and whenever it receives the value, it will initialize the value of x as well as the value of y. Omar says good evening, he's late in the class. Nikhil says, when we write user defined constructor, do we have initialize every instance variables? Okay, we'll come to your point. Now, first of all, let me explain the constructor overloading, that is right here, class 2 int z, x equal to z, y equals to z. We come to class 1 now. Now, I uncomment these lines. So, what I'm doing right here is I'm creating another object. Now, I come to Vineet's question, why are you defining two objects? I'll just write it Mayank again. Okay, the same name. This will give an error. We cannot define two objects with the same name because we are creating an object of the same class. We are only using different constructors. Okay, but at the end of the day, it will always remain an object of the same class, so you cannot name them same. I hope I am clear to you, Vineet. So I defined an object for class 2 again. But this time in the constructor I passed a value 5. That means I'm calling the second constructor, which is taking a parameter as input, which is an integer value. Now when I print the lines right here, this time the value of x will be equal to 5 and the value of y will be equal to 5. So I'll just run this code, control F11, and you can see we have got 4 statements. The first one says value of x when constructor is called 10. Value of y when constructor is called is 11. This time when the second constructor is called, value of x when constructor is called is 5, and for the y also it will be 5. Okay, so this way we are actually overloading a constructor. Now we come to Nikhil's question, when we write user defined constructor, do we have to initialize every instance variable? So we'll test it out. Now let's say this, and I'm not initializing the value of y, but I'll use y itself. Okay, so I come here, I run this code, control F11. First of all, give a guess, everyone. What do you think will it print? In the second constructor, I'll just comment these lines, I'm not using these. So okay, that is I'm calling the second constructor, I'm passing the value 5. We are only initializing the value of x by 5, that is z. We are not using y, we are not initializing y. Now in the second class, that is class 1, I created an object of class 2 and I'm printing the statement for the first one and the second one, that is y variable. Okay, Sai says 5 and 0, Amir says 0 and 5. Okay, y equal to 0, x equal to 5, Amit says 0. Sarita says 5, Ashraf says value of x when constructor 10, 11, 5, 11. Okay. Shalin says 5, 0. Sarita says 5, 0, 5, 0 from class 1, nothing. Okay then, I've received all the answers. Now let me just run the code, control F11. As you all can see, 5 and 0. Okay, if you're not initializing the value of the second variable, it actually gets the default value, which is 0. Mayank sends me a smiley. Now, Nikhil, is that clear to you? Okay, Mohsin says how to comment the line. Now, how to comment a line, what you can do, you can select those lines like this. The shortcut is same for both commenting and uncommenting. Select the lines, press Ctrl 7, it will uncomment, 7 comment. Okay, so that is the shortcut. Okay, then now we are clear. Now if I run this code now, what happens? Now there were some people who were saying that if we uncomment these lines, what will happen? It will give me 10, 11, and here it will give x equals to 5 and y equal to 11. 10, 11, 5, 0. 10, 11, 5, 0. Mayank is saying 10, 11, 5, 11. Alia says 11 for y. We need 10, 11, 5, 0. I'll just run the code. Okay, Alia says 0. Amir says 10, 11, 5, 0. Control F11 and we have the result, that is 10, 11, 5, 0. Exactly correct. Amit sends me a smiley now. Alia also does the same thing and Mayank says, oh. Okay, then that means you learned something, right? Because this y is the instance variable of OB1, not of OB, not of Mayank, okay? These are two different variables, don't consider the same. Just think, that is, we have got two objects and both the object has got its own instance variables, one is x, the other is y. Just consider as Mayank is one person and OB1 is the second one. Mayank has got two children, that is a boy that is X and there's a girl that is Y. OB1 has got two children, boy and a girl, but they are not the same. They are two different entities. Okay, so I hope I'm quite clear to everyone. Do you have any other questions in here? Vineet says, wow, I learned the general logic, but the procedure has confused me a little, maybe because I missed the first class. Don't you worry, earlier you have got the recording of the class as well. Okay, so, and once you implement the code, you will be understanding it in a better fashion. Okay, Vineet says, can you just swap to class 2 tab, please? Absolutely, I'll do that. Now we are on class 2. Yes, tell me. Alia says, thanks. Sarita says no. Gulzar says no. Okay, no for the questions. That means it is quite clear to you what are constructors. So Vineet, can I move back to the presentation now? Alia says, so class 2 calls class 1. No. In class 1, you have got the main method. Nikhil says, why the instance variables are not static? Because every variable, the instance variables has got a different copy, but the static variables, what happens, there's always a same copy. Are you getting my point, Nikhil? Right here you got the point, that is these instance variables are actually different right here. You have to provide a different variable for every object, hence it is not static. I have still got an unclear doubt. Vineet says, yes, tell me Vineet. Class 1 gives the main method, Alia says, yes. Now, the starting point of your application is actually the main method, so whatever the things that are present in your main method will only get executed. Okay, so when you want to use the class 2, you'll have to create the object of class 2 in the class 1 and that too in the main method. Okay, so this is what we have done right here. All classes on the same tab like we do in C++. Yes, Amir, you can do the same thing here itself. Wang says we are not using inheritance here, still it gets inherited to class 1. Exactly, we are not using inheritance, we are using the object to use the variables. Use the properties, the functions that we'll be defining in the class. Okay, one thing is you can inherit the class, we'll be learning that concept as well, but right now we are learning how to create an object, we are learning the constructors. Cons are of same class, so why create two objects for each? Cons. What is cons? Constructors are of the same class, so why create two objects for each? Mayank, what is happening? Sorry, Vineet, what is happening? When you are using the second constructor, okay, you cannot do it like this. Like, you cannot name the two objects with the same name. I've already explained it before. Second constructor is called, but at the end of the day, you should understand that whichever constructor is used, the object that would be created will be of the same class. Okay, so that is the difference. In the first object, what we are doing, we are initializing the value to 5 using the constructor, but in the first one, what we are doing, we want the values of x and y to be initialized as default. Amit says, because both have different parameters. Alia says, yeah, why didn't we use a single class? You know, do all the commands and objects. Single class, we are using the same. Okay, Alia says, why the second class? Puneet says, I get you now. Now, second class, because I wanted to create the object, I wanted to show you the constructors. Okay, you can use the same class itself. But this way it is much clearer, I guess. Okay, this way you are also learning one more concept of creating objects. You're getting something extra, that is why it was done. Alia says, okay, got it. Now, let's get back to the presentation. The rest, you will have to figure it out on yourself when you implement the code. Okay, try to experiment with it and you'll get your answers. Now we move on to Java review, that is Java syntax for loop constructors. Now here we'll be understanding three kinds of loop. First is the for loop, second is the while loop, and the third one is the do while loop. There are three loops present. We'll be learning each one of them one by one. Okay, we'll be learning the procedures, we'll be seeing their flow diagrams and everything. And we'll also run the code on Eclipse. Now we first of all come to for loop. Okay, Mayank, will be first learning the basics first and then only we'll move on further. Okay? We are even leaving the for each loop, right? So first learn the basics, rest you'll understand it. Now we come to the for loop. For loop allows code to be repeatedly executed. Okay, loop means that it will do the things again and again. It will go on, right? So when you have to do something again and again repeatedly, in that case what you can do, you can use loops, and one of them is for loop. They are typically used when the number of iterations is known. For loop there are three kinds of loop, okay? Now, when to use which loop? Now, in case of for loop, the condition can be, the favorable condition is, if you know the number of iterations, if you know that the loop should run exactly for 10 times, in that case, you should always use a for loop. Okay, so this is what is written right here. If you are aware of the number of iterations, then in that case, always use a for loop. Moving on, if you see the syntax of a for loop, you use the keyword for, you open up the parenthesis. Within that, first thing is you do the initialization. You initialize a value. Second is the condition. Now based on this condition, this for loop will end. Till the time the condition is true, this for loop will keep on running, and as soon as the condition becomes false, it will get out of the loop. Finally, you'll be incrementing the value of the variable, as well as you can also decrement the value to run the loop. And whenever the condition is true, all those times these statements will get executed again and again. If you see the sample right here, for integer I equal to 0, that means you are initializing a variable, you check the condition, that is I less than 5. Till the time the value of I is less than 5, this loop will run, and you are also incrementing the value of I, because if you do not increment the value of I will always remain 0, and 0 will always be less than 5. So this loop will run for infinite times. Okay, so that is why you initialize, you actually increment a value. So first time, second time, third time, fourth time, this loop will run for 5 times from 0 to 4, and as soon as the value of I becomes equals to 5, it will get out of the loop. Okay, Amir says, if I put a comma between them, I don't think so it will work, Amir. Because the syntax said, yeah, it won't work because the syntax says you have to put the semicolon exactly. Amit says syntax error. Now, what is the working of a for loop? The initialization expression initializes the loop. First of all, it gets executed once as the loop begins. It only gets executed, that is, we are talking about integer I equals to 0. So that expression gets executed for only one time. When the termination expression evaluates to false, the loop terminates. That is, when the condition is equals to false, it will get out of the loop. The increment expression is invoked after each iteration through the loop. So you saw that for loop has got three parts. One is the initialization, second is the condition, and the third one is the increment part. So these three lines are actually explaining why these three parts are divided and what is the function of these three parts. Okay. Okay, Pratyush says, what if I put the semicolon after for loop? These are all experiments, okay, Pratyush, you all can use it on your own, you'll get the answer. Please make the increment part clearer, Alia says. Okay, I'll make you understand through a loop, okay? I'll make you understand through a diagram, don't you worry. See the y variable in my statement, Amir says. Okay, where is your y variable, Amir? Actually, my question was that, can we initialize any different variable in between? Gulzar says, what is termination expression? Termination expression is the condition on which the for loop runs, okay, on which it decides whether to run the next iteration or not. Okay, so that is the termination expression. Let's understand like this. We have got a for loop, okay. For initialization is integer I equal to 0, I less than 5 is the condition or the termination expression. Okay. Y equal to 3. No, Amir, it is not valid. I'm sorry. Okay, let me just finish and you'll understand things. Nikhil says F has to be in capital letter. No, F does not have to be in capital letter. Since this is a slide, an image for that, F is in capital letter. I hope you will skip that, Nikhil. Okay? Okay then. We write for initialization, termination expression, and finally the increment part. Now I'll show you how it works. First, initialize the value. It is only called for one time. After that, this is checked with the condition. It will check whether the value of phi is less than 5 or not. Okay. Why to check right after initialization? Because you can initialize the value of I to 10, then if we are not checking the condition, then this loop will run in a wrong condition, right? So as soon as you initialize the value, it has to be checked with the condition. If it is true, it will directly come here and execute the statements that are present in for block. After that, it comes here and increments the value of I. Okay, that is I plus plus will increment the value of I by 1. Presently it was 0, then here it will become 1. I equals to 1. It will again come here and check the condition. After checking the condition, if it finds it true, it will move inside and it will again execute the statements right here. Come here, it will increment the value of I. It will become 2 right now. Again check the condition like that. It will go 3. It again goes 4. And when the value of I is become 5, it will check the condition. That time 5 is not less than 5. It will get out of the while for loop and it won't execute these statements that time. Okay. So I hope you are quite clear. That means this small loop that is running right here will keep on running till the condition is true, and as soon as it finds that it is false, it will get out of the loop. Alia says for I equal to 0, I less than minus 5, I minus minus. It will also work, Alia. Exactly correct. You can also decrement the value. So increment value can be either plus plus or minus minus. Exactly. You can do that. Okay, but you have to check the condition in the same fashion. Amir says if I 0, y equals to 5, y less than 5. Yes, it will show you an error. Amir. Mayank says what will happen if we do pre-increment? It will also increment the value, Mayank, and try to experiment it on your own. You'll get your answer. It will also increment, but in few cases it won't take the exact values. Okay, it will increment first and then it will execute. So this condition may cause conflict in your for loop. The exact result, I guess you won't receive it. Alia says so it simply increment basically increases one step after every result. Exactly. Increment operator, what it does, it actually increments the value of a variable by 1 and decrements the value by 1. Amar says, can we omit initialization? No, you'll have to follow this structure. Okay, you can place it outside and place semicolons just. It won't give you an error. But this is the syntax that has to be followed. Okay, the flow diagram, and finally I'll come there on Eclipse and I'll solve all your queries. Okay. Now, first of all, initialize. If you have to write the flow diagram of for loop, this is how you'll be doing. Check the condition. If the condition is true, move down and execute the statement. After that, come here and increment, that is the iteration, increment the value of I. And again check the condition. True, go down, run, keep on running, and now when the condition becomes false, just get out of the loop. That is the end of the loop. Are you all clear with the flow diagram? Are you clear with the working of a for loop? Please write down on the chat window, each and every one of you. All of you write down on the chat. Okay. Request everyone. Okay, that's good. Okay. Chara says yes. Shrikant, Alia, Mayank, Amir, Sarita, Nikhil, Vineet. Gulzar says great flow diagram. Thank you very much. So I'll just open Eclipse now and I'll come to my loops. Okay, right now we'll only deal with for loop. Now this is the syntax right here. First of all, we'll understand the simple construct, that is initialize the value of I, put the condition I less than 5 and I plus plus. All those times we are printing the value of I right here using the system.out.println. Sai says no questions today, can you show for each track? Nicely explained, sir. Lokesh says, okay, Sai, yes, I do have questions. Thanks for reminding me. Actually, I got in the flow of the class and I forgot to ask questions from you. I'm very sorry. Okay, I've already told you this part. Now, can you all give me the answer to this question? Sai says, cheers. Which looping process is best used when the number of iterations is known? Is it the for loop, while loop, do while loop, or all looping processes require the same iterations be known? All of you, please cast your answers. Click on the polling screen right in front of you and give your answers, everyone. Only 55% have voted. I request everyone to give your vote. Cast it. Click on the polling screen. Okay, Alia says the syntax system.out.println. Please explain it to me. I'll do that for you. Just give the answers first and then I'll come to that part. Okay, we have got the results. 94% of the people says for loop and 6% says all looping processes. And as I said, I always go with the audience. This time the answer is for loop. It is not by the fourth one. Okay, the first answer is correct. Okay, then we have got one question. Now we'll come back. Now Alia wants me to explain system.out.println right here. That means whenever you have to give an output command, this is the output command in Java. System.out.println, next line. Println is that it will be printing in next line. Now when you pass the I variable, it will print the value of I. Okay, so you just have to use it like this. It is already predefined in the libraries of Java. Is that clear to you, Alia? I less than 1. Can you just try that? Println a I less than 5. Where do you want me to write that statement beneath? Yes, it is always the same. In the condition you want me to put just copy this part. He's saying I'll just place it right here and then put a comma as well. Okay, Vineet, did you get your answer? Yes, exactly, Nikhil. Out.println is a method. Println is a method which is called and you pass a parameter right here, that is the variable I. Okay, Vineet says he has got his answer. That's good. Now, tell me, if I run this code, this for loop, what will it print on the console window? Nikhil is fast. He says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What about the rest of you? Do you think Nikhil is correct? Is he giving me the right answer? Mine says 0 to 4. What about the rest of you? Shalain says 0. Omar says 0 to 4. Okay, now I'm receiving our 0 to 4. So I'll just run the code now. Control F11. And I receive the result 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because first the value of 5 was 0, it prints 0, 2, 0, 3, 4. And when it becomes 5, the condition is false. Now it will get out of the loop. Now, if I remove this right here and I put a semicolon. So there was a question by someone, what if I remove this, like I place it like this? So this is also one way to do it, but why to place the variable outside the for loop? It is not solving any problem. It is not of no help. Okay. Is it necessary to write the curly braces if we have only one statement under the for loop? No, Amir, it is not necessary. right here you've got only one statement, remove the curly braces. It won't give you any error. Okay. So I guess it was Nikhil's question. Umar is saying don't initialize I. Okay, Umar, did you got your answer? Parenthesis compulsory? Exactly they are. Okay, but I'll show you instead of saying that they are. Is that fine, Umar? Nikhil? Are you clear with the parenthesis part? And let me tell you, I'm placing a semicolon right here. Now Nikhil, tell me, is this semicolon necessary? If I remove it, will it give me an error? Pratyush says no. Nikhil says yes. Okay, let's see. Pratyush, did you get your answer? Nikhil, you were correct? Yes, error if removed. Exactly. If you remove the semicolon, that is the exactly syntax. It searches for the semicolon as well. It will give you an error. So all of you, are you all clear with the for loop? Now can you all implement a for loop on your own? Alia says, no, why would you change the syntax? You have, syntax means the grammar. Okay, grammar of a language. So you have got fourth loop in your language, that is Java. So you have to follow the grammar. Okay, in English you learn grammar. If you do not write the sentence correctly, nobody will listen that. Similarly, the Java compiler won't listen to you if you are not using the right grammar. Alia says, right, that is what I was trying to say. And sends me a sad smiley. Okay then, since we are clear with the for loop, we'll just get back to the next loop now. Moving on, I come to a while loop. Okay, the while statement continually executes a block of statements while a particular condition is true. Similarly, as it is in a for loop, it will keep on executing the statements again and again till the condition is false, right? Now if we see the syntax of a while loop, we have got while, place a condition within the parenthesis right here. On the basis of this condition, till the time it is true, it will keep on executing the statements that are present in the while block. Now if you see the example right here, you have initialized a value I outside, use the while keyword in the parenthesis, you check the value of I, you check whether the value of I is less than 5 or not. If it is less than that, it will move inside, it will first of all print the value of I and then increment the value. Can you show the definition again? Alia says. The definition is the while statement continually executes a block of statements while a particular condition is true. Okay? Is that clear to you, Alia, now? Every one of you. Moving on, I hope this sample is also clear to you. Okay, I get yeses now. Now let's move on and we'll check the while loop working. How does the while loop actually work? The while statement evaluates expression. If the expression evaluates to true, the while statement executes the statements that are present in the while block. The while statement continues executing its block until the expression evaluates to be true, to false, okay, until. That is, as soon as the condition is false, it will just get out of the while loop. So please explain an example of printing star patterns for loop at the end of the lecture. Okay. I hope these three statements are quite clear to you. Now I come to the working of a while loop. First of all, the value of I gets initialized. Then it is checked. Okay, the value of I gets checked in the while condition, that is whether it is less than 5 or not. As soon as it finds true, it will get inside, it will execute the statements right here and it will increment the value of I. After that, it again comes back and checks the value of I. If it finds true, again it's come here, it will increment the value, again it will check the condition. So it will keep on running the cycle till the value of I is not less than 5. That means as soon as it is equal to 5, it will get out of the while loop. So this is the flow diagram. This is the working of a while loop right here. So all of you, are you clear till here? Please write down on the chat window. Says while zero block statements, will the block statement get executed here? We'll come to that part, practical one, Amir. Okay, Sarita says clear, Sai says yes, Irfan says yes, Shrikant says yes, Vineet says yes. What about the rest of you? All of you, please write down on the chat window. Mayank, Sara, Umar, Amir, Nikhil, everyone says yes, that's good. Moving on, I'll show you the flow diagram of a while loop. First of all, initialize the value, that is I less than 0. Move on and check the condition. If the condition turns out to be true, execute the statements and increment the value of I. Again, it comes here and checks the condition. If the condition is true, it will run the statement and it will increment the value of I. Check the condition and it will follow the same task till the condition turns out to be false right here, and it will get out of the loop. It will be the end of the loop. So this is the flow diagram for your while loop. Okay, this time it is for while loop. I hope it is clear to you as well. Let's get back to Eclipse now and we'll see how to use a while loop. I'll just comment this for loop right here. Control 7, and I come here. I'll use the while loop now. Okay, I've used a variable z. No, earlier it cannot be. This is the wrong syntax. Now, we initialize the value of z equal to 0 while z is less than 5. It will print the value of z and also increment the value of z. So if I run the code, what do you think it will print? Zero to 4 answer is exactly 0 to 4. Everyone says 0 to 4. So I'll just run the code, control F11, I received 0 to 4. What if I change to 1? Can you tell me what will be the answer now? Omar says 1 to 4, Alia says 1 to 4, everyone says 1 to 4, exactly correct, 1 to 4. If I change it to like this, what do you think will it print now? Omar says 1 3. 1 3, Nikhil says, Amir, Ashraf, exactly correct, 1 3, control F11 and it will print 1 3. Okay, so this way you can alternate, you can get your desired results. You can change it. Now, I've got few questions from the top. We'll just check it out. Okay, Umar wants me to show something. Umar, does that answer your query? Okay, while zero block statements, while the block statement gets executed here. Okay, this was the question that Amir asked me. I'll do the same thing for him. Okay, this way what I'm doing, I'll just comment this also and I'll print run. Okay, just keep on running. He wants me to pass 0. Cannot okay. Now right here in the while loop, it actually takes the, in C it would run. Okay, like the languages like C, if you pass 1, the loop will keep on running till infinite. But here it is taking a boolean value, so it won't run infinite. Okay, if you write false here instead of this, sorry, false with a small f, remove including condition. Okay, so there was no point of placing. If I place true, it will work. Now, why was it showing me error? Why it was showing me an option that remove the entire while loop with the condition? Can any one of you tell me? Why was it showing me an error if I write the false? False does not run the loop, exactly correct. Ashraf says unreachable code. Exactly correct. Since we placed false in the while loop as the condition, it will never get into the loop. Hence, there was no point of placing the while loop. It was showing an error. If I placed it true right here, this loop will keep on running. If I press Ctrl F11, you can see run is getting printed again and again. It will keep on running. Okay, this is an infinite loop. So I'll just pause it now. So all of you, are you clear now? Sarita says yes. Now, the special thing from which you got to know here is while loop can be used with infinite loops. Whenever you have to create an infinite loop for your program, in those cases, while loop is your best friend. You can use the while loop. Okay? Or if you are not sure of the iterations that are present, if you are not very sure that these number of iteration has to be done, in those cases, also use a while loop instead of a for loop. Okay? So any other questions that you have? Yes, Amir, break statement can take you out of the loop. You can put in a condition within the while loop and you can place that while break statement within that condition. That is, place a if, place a condition, and as soon as the condition is reached, it will get you out of the loop. Abdad says, is there a do while loop in Java? Yes, it is. We'll be coming to do while now after this. Okay, then I hope everyone is clear with a while loop. So I'll just get back and I'll show you what is a do while loop. We come to do while loop. Do while loop allows the code to be executed at least once. Okay, based on a given Boolean condition, it will proceed further. Similarly, as in a while loop, there is a Boolean value that it takes. Similarly, here it takes a Boolean value as the condition. Now, executed at least once. You'll understand this line soon. Okay, Alia says, and the syntax for a while loop be, no Alia, it cannot be like this. It is the syntax for loop, not for the while loop. Okay, now if we see the syntax right here of a do while loop, how to write it? Write the keyword do, open the braces right here. In the braces, place your condition statements, that is statement 1 and 2. After that, you place the while keyword, and within that you place the condition on which this loop will run. Sample is integer I equals to 0, do keyword, open up the braces, place the statement right here, that is system.out.println I. You'll increment the value of I and finally close the braces. After that, write the while keyword and check the condition, that is I less than 5. Now, what is the working of a do while loop? First, the code within the block is executed and then the condition is evaluated. Okay. That means whatever is the code present in the do while block gets executed first, and after that it checks the condition. If the condition is true, the code within the block is executed again. This repeats until the condition becomes false. So this is the working, quite simple working of this right here. First the execution of the block, then checking the condition. Okay, and it will do the same thing till the condition becomes false. Now let's see the diagram and understand what is the working of a do while loop. First, initialize the value of I, that is, initialize a variable that will be considered as the counter of the while loop. Sorry, the do while loop. Then move inside and execute the statements right here. After that, increment the value of I, check the condition right here. If the value of I is less than 5, it will again come here and execute the statements right here. Increment the value of I and then check the condition. This process will be followed till the condition of I is equals to 5. As soon as it is equals to 5, it will get out of the loop and it won't execute the statements after that. So all of you, are you clear till here now? Do you have any questions on do while loop, any one of you? Nikhil says, is there any practical use of do while loop? I'll give you an answer in a while. Okay. Vineet says, no, it's not clear. Vineet, are you paying attention? Okay. Vineet says I'm clear, lol. Okay. Because I'm sure you would be clear with this. That's not quite tough. Vineet says I said no questions. Okay. That's good. Amir says is continue to valid here. Yes, you can use continue as well. Continue keyword can also be used. Alia says, but what is the actual difference? Okay. First of all, are you clear with do while loop? We'll be answering these questions once we are done with all the three loops. Okay. Now we see the flow diagram of a do while loop. Initialize the variable right here. Execute the statement and the iteration. Then check the condition. If the condition is true, come here, again execute the statement. Keep on doing the same thing again and again till the condition is false. As soon as the condition is false, it will get out of the loop. It will be the end of the loop. So this is the flow diagram for a do while loop. So I hope it is clear to you now till here. Now we'll just get back to the Eclipse and we'll understand how to use a do while loop. What is the basic difference between do while? Alia says got the flow diagram, that's good. Can you mention any difference between loops of C and C++ and Java? Okay, like in while loop, one difference was right there that if you place 1 in while, it will keep on running. Sign says all are the same. No, not exactly sign. They run the same, but if in terms of the parameters, in a C language, you can pass 1 in a while loop, okay? It will run. It will be an infinite loop, but not in case of Java. You'll have to pass a Boolean variable because in C, 1 is considered as true. It will keep on running again and again, right? And for the other differences, I'll have to get back to you. I'll just search it for you and let you know. Amir, is that okay? Amir says, thank you. Nikhil says, we cannot do integer Boolean test in Java. Okay, Nikhil says, we cannot do integer Boolean test in Java. Okay. Difference between while loop and do while, I'll come to your point. Okay. Now, first of all, we'll see what is a while loop. Sorry, what is a do while loop, and then we'll understand the difference between them. And Alia, I thought that you would have understood by now because of the flow diagram. So initializing the value k, variable k, and finally when executing the lines, incrementing the value and checking the condition. Now all of you tell me what will be the answer. What answer will I receive if I run this code? Quick, guys, this is quite simple answer. I expect an answer from every one of you, and a quick one. Okay, that's correct. It will print from 0 to 4. Control F11 and it will print the same result 0 to 4. Now, we'll play with these three loops. Now, first of all, the difference for you. Okay, not the difference first. We'll play with the loop, then we'll get the difference. We'll get the answer to Alia's question in a while. Now, first of all, I come to for loop once again. Now, I hope you're clear with do while and while as well. Alia says, so simply while can go to infinity. Exactly, it can go to infinity. It will keep on running again and again. Now, we come to for loop. I make it 10. I make the value of I 10. What will happen now if I run this code? Ashraf says blank. Pratyush says no execute. Sarita says nothing. Sai says no output. Alia says nothing. Okay, that's correct. If I press Control F11, I receive nothing on the console window because I was initialized to 10. Then check the condition right here. What happened? It found it false. So why will it execute the statement right here? It will get out of the for loop. Hence, we receive no result. Okay, then I just comment this again. I come to my second loop, that is a while loop. Okay. I make z equals to 10. The same change. What will happen right here in the while loop? Yes, Abdad. You are correct and I will show you right now. Alia says 10. Pratyush says infinite loop same. Okay, exactly, it would be infinite loop. You were correct. I'll change Z. I'll place the same condition that was present before. Now tell me what will happen. Ale says nothing now. Pratyush says nothing. Sarita says nothing. Vineet says nothing. Sai says no output. Ashraf says nothing. Shaleen, Nikhil, everyone says nothing. Abdad says nothing. Control F11 and you guys are correct. That is, it won't print anything because the condition is not satisfied. Now I'll just comment this once again. And now I come to the do while one. I'll uncomment it. I'll make the same change right here. I'll make it 10. Now tell me what will be the result on this console window. Okay, Amir says nothing happens. Okay. Alia says nothing. Again, Shaleen says 0. Alia says nothing and a smiley. Gulzar says nothing. Prince. Out of these students, those who have said nothing and rest of them have said that it will print 10. Control F11. What do you see on the console window? The answer is 10. Why? Now can any one of you tell me? Abdad has already given me the answer. Abdad says we'll be printing 10. Pratyush says execute once, execute once, execute at least once. That is the keyword. The word is at least, okay? The do while will run. The do while loop will run for at least one time, because what is happening, you are checking the condition at the end of the loop. In the other loops, what you are doing, you are checking the condition in the starting. So this is the difference between while and do while loop. Are you clear with this, Alia? Omar says loop runs anyhow. Gulzar says very nice. So all of you, are you clear with all the three loops? How does they work? What is the necessity? Do while loop can be used in real world whenever you have to do a particular task for at least once. Let's say there's a person, okay, you are a user, I'm creating a product for you. For the first time I want that you should take the trial, but I want that next time if you come, if you like the product, you'll come next time. Okay, so when next time you come, I want you to pay. So what I'll do, I'll run a loop something like that. The first time you come, you'll get it for free, but for the second time, if you are not paying anything, I won't provide you the service. Did you get the answer? Nikhil says, like this course, Nikhil says, exactly correct. This way you can relate it to the real world, where you can use these kind of loops, the concept. Sarita says, lol. Sorry. So are you clear, Nikhil? And the rest of you? Gulzar says, nice example, thank you. Nikhil says, yes, clear. Alia says, yeah. Sarah says, yes. Mohsin says, I was little bit confused. Now fine. That's good. Vineet says, yes, always. That's good. Shaleen says, yes. Amir says, yeah. Payang says, yes. Okay, then we are all done with the loops now. Let me just think. Can I provide you anything for the loops? Okay, then. I guess you'll have to experiment things on your own now. Okay, you'll find different things. If you face any problem, we have got a community for you on Facebook, or you can send me an email on support ID. Okay. Now we come to arrays. Okay. Yes, Hardik will come to that part. Let me finish arrays, and using that I'll show you the for each loop. Okay. Okay, then what are arrays? An array is a list of similar things. Whenever you have to store a similar kind of items into a structure, that could be an array for you. Vineet says love playing with arrays. Okay. Now in an array you can store similar kind of things. Either that thing could be an integer value, it could be a string value, it could be a character, these kind of things, but they have to be similar. Amir says homogeneous data. Exactly, it cannot be heterogeneous. It has to be homogeneous, that is, it has to be same. Now an array has a fixed. Now whenever you declare an array, there are three things that has to be fixed always. The first thing is the name of the array. That is the identifier, the name of the array using which you'll be using that particular array. Second is the type of the array. What would be the value, what would be the data type of that particular array? That means what kind of values can be stored in this array. Whether it is an integer value, a character value, a float value. This way you have to mention what type of values will go in this array. Third is the length of the array. That is, what would be the length of this particular array. Or you can say that what would be the size of the array, or how many elements can this array store. Can like if you mention 10, that means this array can store 10 elements within it, which would be of integer type, and the name of the array is bottle. Okay, I have a bottle in front of you, so I gave you the example. Bottle could be the name of the array. This bottle can store 10 integer in it, and the data type is integer. I've already told you that it can store 10 integers, right? Now these must be declared when the array is created. As I told you, array size cannot be changed during the execution of the code. That means once you are given the length of an array, the size of the array cannot be changed during the runtime. And this is the maximum number of elements that an array can store. Exactly, Abdad, that's true. Pratyush, yes Abdad, that's right. Gulzar says, what if we don't specify length? It will give you error. You'll have to specify the length. There's one more method, but even then, in some way, you're actually giving the length. Okay, you cannot skip this part. Pratyush says, how will the memory allocation? Okay, memory allocation will be in sequential. Okay, because if you're storing 10 integers and one integer, I guess, taking 32 bits, then what is happening? It will first 32 for the first one, then for the second one, then for the third one. Like this for 10, it will make allocation for the memory for storing these integers in the memory. Okay, it will just secure that place in a sequential manner. I hope it answers your question. Pratyush says, got it. Okay, that's good. Amir says, okay. No more questions. Now, array size cannot be changed, I have told you. Moving on, example of an array. My array is the name of this array. Now, my array has got a room for 8 elements. That means this array can store 8 elements, or you can say the length of the array is 8. Now, the elements are accessed by their index. In an array, you have, because you are storing 8 elements, you need some mechanism using which you can actually specify that I want this element. So what is done? You are using index in array. Now indices in array actually starts from 0. Hence, since there are 8 elements, it is starting from 0 till and going up to 7. So 0 is the first element, 1 is the second, 2 is the third one, 3 is the fourth, like this till 7, and as a total it is 8 elements. Are you clear with this example? Please write down on the chat window, every one of you. Okay. Sarita, Mayank, Pratyush, Shrikant, Abdad, Nikhil, Shalen, Gulzar, Mohsin, Sara, everyone says yes. Do we have bound jack program Java as we have in C and C++? Yes, exactly. You have to place it within the bounds. Okay, Amir. Rakesh says clear, sir. Sai says yes. Ashraf says yes, clear. Omar says yeah. Hadik says yeah. Alia says yeah. Amir says okay. Atish says, but I want to give input from keyboard. Okay, taking input from user, I'll tell you today. Last class I missed it, but I guess I provided you a question in the first assignment for the first class, in which you have to take the input from the user. Alia says I missed it too, so I'll just tell you how to take input from the user as soon as I finish array. Okay? Okay then. So you are clear with the example right here. Now we'll see another example in much graphical way using the code, and there will be an allocation. So as soon as you write this line, this is the declaration. This is how you declare array in Java. In C, this is not the method. It is quite simple. Like you write integer array, in the brackets itself you place the length of the array and you put a semicolon. But in Java, this is the way that has to be followed. Okay, so in this statement what you can find, can you tell me what are the three things that you have mentioned in this statement right here? Everyone, this is your test. I've already told you the three things that has to be present while declaring an array. Abdat says data type, int, array and new. Sarita says. Abdat says length, Mohsin says index, Pratyush says new int, Gulzar says type, name and length. Exactly correct. Shrikant says type, name, length. Sarita says size. Ashraf says type size. Amar says name, size, type. Sai, integer, length and name of the array. Okay. Amir says name, size, type. Nikhil says type, name, constructor, size, length and type. Repeat the question, Alia says. The question was, Alia, what are the three things that you are actually defining in this statement right here? Okay, what three genuine things that you have to pass when you declare an array? That is the question, and everyone has given me the right answer. Okay, the three things were the type of the array, that means what kind of values can be stored in this array. Right here it is integer. Second is the name of the array right here, so this is the name of your array. And finally, exactly the length of the array. You are correct, Alia. Now as soon as this statement gets executed, there is a memory that has been allocated to this array. Since the length of the array was 5, the index is starting from 0 till 4. Okay, and this way you actually put the values to an array, or whenever you have to use the value at this position, this is the way you write. That is the name of the array, you place the square brackets and within that you pass the index. So this position is array 0, this is array 1, this is array 2, 3 and finally this one is the fourth one. Now in order to fill this array, what are the methods that I can follow? Can you tell me? If I have to fill this array, what are the methods that I need to follow? I'll just open Paint for me. Until that time, I want you to write on the chat window. This is an array. This one method that I haven't mentioned in the presentation, so I'll write it right here. Okay, Mohsin says if a space of 5 is created and users gives only 4 values, will it give error? No. Amir says runtime and compile time initialization. Okay, Mohsin says error. Taking input from user side, will come to that part. One method, right now we are not taking inputs from user. Okay, we need to put values into the array. What are the methods that can be followed? Omar, this way, this is not the exact way that you have to follow in Java. This is wrong. Okay, there is only one mistake with your initialization, that is within the brackets you are given 5. Once you are giving the values, that is understood that the size of the array is 5. Okay. Why don't we use a pen tablet, Nikhil says. Okay, thanks for the suggestion, Nikhil. We'll just look into it, and if possible, next time I'll have a pen tablet for you. No, sorry, not for you, for me. Okay, but you'll get that easily. Why the constructor argument is not enclosed in parentheses? Constructor argument is not enclosed in parentheses. You're talking about which, Nikhil? Which part? Till that time, Nikhil writes new in 5. Because it is an array. In case of an array, you have to use this. This is the syntax that has to follow. This actually represents that this is an array. You use a square bracket. Okay? Okay, now, first of all, in one way could be you write array, the name of the array. I'll just increase the text size for you. Okay, you write array in the name of the array, you pass the index within that equals to whatever value that you need to assign, put it like this. Again, for the second one, write array, I'll place 1 equals to 2 and I put a semicolon again. This way, for the For the rest of the elements, I can do the same thing. Okay, and finally for the last one I'll do it. That is array 4 equals to, and the value here will go and will be 5. Okay, like this. So this is one way. Yes, Avdad, I'll come to that part as well. But there are people who do not have any basic knowledge, so I have to tell them that this is one way where how you store the values in it. We'll be using the same way but with a loop this time, as Abdad wants me to do it. Amir also says the same thing. Pratyush says the same thing. Okay. So those who are new to this, you should understand this is the way that has to be followed to assign a value. Now, if I use a loop, okay, this is the same thing that is present. We can use a for loop. I want to store values from 1 to 5 in this array. So what we did, we actually used a for loop. Why only for loop? Can any one of you answer me this question? Why did I use for loop? Anyone? Iterations are known. Umar says exactly correct. Amir says we know the number of times. Sarita says fixed number is known. Exactly, because I know that I have to place numbers from 1 to 5 in an array of size 5. So what I can do, I can simply initialize a value of I by 0 and it can go up to 5. Okay. Now, till the time the value, first the value of I will be 0, it will be passed 0 in array equals to I plus 1. That means 0 plus 1 will be saved. So when this loop runs for the first time, it will store a value 1 in array 0, as you can see. Second iteration, it will store second 2 value in the place position 1. Why? Because the value of I was 1 equals to I was 1 right here, so 1 plus 1 is equals to, so at the position 1 we have got the value 2. Third time it comes 3 in position 2. Fourth time it comes 4 in the position 3, and for the final iteration it will place 5 in the position 4. Okay, and then the value of y will be equal to 5, and 5 is not less than 5. Okay, it will get out of the loop now. So all of you, are you clear with this diagram? Every one of you. Vineet says best loop. That is why we are using it. Okay. Abdad says yes sir. Yes, yes, yep, yes, yep, and yes. I've got all the yeses and yeps. That's good. So we have seen this diagram right here, and I'll just go back to the Eclipse and we'll see the code for an array, a quite simple code for you right here. Now, I've got a class, I've got a main method within that. This is the starting point right here, integer array. You put the braces right, square brackets right here. Now this square bracket is actually representing that this is an array. Finally you write equals to, you write the new operator that is allocating memory to this array. Finally you write int, you place the square brackets and you give the size of the array, that is this array can store 5 elements in it. Now how to initialize the array with values? For that I am running a for loop. For integer I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. I'm using this for loop because the iterations are fixed. I know that the loop has to run from 0 position till 4. That is why I is less than 5. The condition is I less than 5. Now till the time the value is true, it will come here, it will place the value of I and it will store the same value in array. If you want, you can store it as I plus 1. That means it will store values from 1 to 5. Now how to print the values of the array? Similarly, you can use the for loop, the same iteration, and you can use system.out.println, and within that what I'm passing array, and within the braces I'm passing the variable. First it will be 0, it will print the value at array 0, then comes 1, then comes 2, 3, 4, and finally till 4, not 5. Okay, so this was initializing the array, this part. Second part was printing the array. So all of you, are you clear with this? Okay, I receive yeses. Nikhil says very much. Just guys give me a minute. I'll just have some water. Okay. Okay then. Yes. Alia says can't hear anything. Actually, I was on mute. Okay, I was having some water. Now, we were on the printing array. Now, if I run this code, can you all tell me what will be the result right here? Amir, in Java, the pointers are not used the same way. There are no pointer concept in Java. Okay, in some other way you can use it, but directly if you see in a general pattern, you won't find pointers in Java. Is that clear, Amir? Okay, Abdad says time's up. Okay, I received the result that is 1 to 5, control F11, and as I can see that the output is 1, 2, 3, 4 and finally 5. Okay. Now what can we do with this now? Anything else? Okay. For each loop, okay. So I'll write integer I, I'm passing my array that is right here. Now what I can do, don't initialize any variable. Just a minute. Now you wanted me to show the for each, so this is how you use a for each, and within this I'll pass I simply. Now can you tell me, will it work? Will it give me the result? This for each loop. Now, and also tell me, have you understood this? The loop that I wrote right here. What is happening in it? Pratyush says no. Hardik says yeah, clear. Nikhil says yes. You added a for loop. Alia says no, this is not a for loop. This is for each loop. Prashant says not sure about output. Umar says I missed it. Vineet says yes, clear. Okay. Amir says not clear. Not sure. Oh, first class, missed it. Vineet says for each. Amir says missed it. Okay, control F11 and I received the same result. It works the same, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The syntax for a for each loop is, which is present in Java, even in C# you'll find it. You simply give the data type, you declare a variable I, integer. We know that the value stored in an array is integer, so we are declaring a variable I. Here you will pass the structure, that is the array. You pass the entire structure by the name. Now it will directly fetch, it is built in such a way that it will directly fetch the element and it will store the element in I. You print the element, again it gets initialized and the element changes by the second one. This way you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Are you clear now? Everyone? What if array will be non-int? Can we print the array? Yes, Prashant, you can print it. You just have to change the data type of the variable. Gulzar says, what is the difference between two loops? There is no difference, okay? It will give you the same output. The only thing is, you don't have to write the entire statement. See, this looks quite simple to you. Structured and simple. Here you are using braces, lot of symbols in it. This is ancient, this is new. This is young and this is old. The only difference is this. Are you clear? Gulzar. How the length of an array is determined in for each loop. Everything is actually figured out in the background. When you pass the array, all the elements it fetches using the array name itself. Now there is a property of an array that I would like to tell you. Like in this for loop, I'll explain in this for loop. Okay, how to find the length of an array. If you have the name, how to find it. For that, what you can do, instead of 5, what I'll do, I'll write array dot, I'll simply write length. It will directly give me the length of an array. When I run this code, control F11, I receive the same result because array.length is equals to 5. Are you clear, Hardik? Gulzar says clear, Alia says for each makes it simple to execute, exactly. For the user it is quite simple. So Aline says yes, clear, Mayank says yes, Amir says can we increment for each loop by more than one step? No, it will work one by one, okay? Because the increment counter, it is not you who is mentioning it. The increment counter is present in the background. The library is the class where it is present. Are you getting my point, Amit? Okay, so you won't be able to increment, you won't be able to change it. Gulzar says, please explain array.length. Hardik says, so how did got it? What? Hardik? Now Gulzar was saying array.length, what is it? But in for each loop you wrote only array. Now array.length is one of the properties of array that you can use, right? Now that property could have been used in the for each loop, because I haven't seen the source code for each, because it is in the library, so I do not know what is written there, but this could be one of the possibilities that they could use array.length. Okay, that is what I'm trying to say. You can get it through that, even if you have just the name of the array. It won't do anything. I'll tell you what is happening. I'll just do it for you. I is not the increment counter right here. Okay, in this for each loop, I is not the increment counter. It is actually the value that is being stored. Previously it was showing 1 till 5. If I increment it right here, if I do it here and put a semicolon and I run this code, everything would be incremented by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hardik says thanks, clear. Gulzar says okay. Amir, is your query resolved now? Have you understood? I is not the increment counter. It is the value of the array. It is storing the values in it. Please write down on the chat window. And if you have any other question, let me know. And if you want me to place it after the statement, again it won't make any difference. Now you'll receive the result 1 till 5. Why? Because even if you are incrementing the value of I right here, it will again get changed using the array. Okay, it will change. It gets replaced again. It won't matter because the loop is not incrementing on this variable. Amir says got it. He says okay, thank God. You finally got the point. Okay then. So are we now done with an array? Are you all clear? Are you clear with for each loop as well? Then I'll tell you a few more declaring ways by which you can declare an array. Different ways. Vineet says so much. Okay then. What if I place, question for all of you, what if I place the square bracket before the name of the array? Will it give me an error? Sai says it would be the same thing. Amir says won't have any effect, and I received no error. Nikhil says syntax error. It will give us syntax error according to Nikhil, and rest of you say that no error. Okay then, let's check. I'll just place the square brackets before this, and the answer is no, we won't receive an error. Umar says variable can't be named as such. It will be the same declaration. In Java you can place the square brackets before or after the name of the array. Okay. Another question. Can I place the size of the array in the square brackets right here? Or I will just place it after this. You can place it anywhere. Can I mention the size of the array in this square brackets? Any one of you tell me. Sarita says no. Hardik says no. Nikhil says yes, we can place the size of the array. Even Gulzar says yes. Vineet says what is the question? The question is, Vineet, can I place the size of the array in this square bracket right here? Will it give me an error? Amir says no idea. Abdat says we can't. Shaleen says yes, we can do it. Mayank says, Nikhil says, and even, okay, Mayank says no. Alia says error. Gulzar says then we need to use the new operator in the second statement. Can you just write down the code for me that you are trying to say, Gulzar? Just send it to me. If I place the size of the array right here, it will absolutely give me an error. Okay. Even if you say that remove this line, it will again give you an error. It is not correct. Or if you say I remove this, just leave it right there. I'm mentioning it there. Even then it will give you an error because this is not the correct syntax. You cannot place 5 in the first square bracket. Okay. Kumar says it is just a template. Nikhil says how to create an empty array. This is an empty array right here. Nikhil. Yes, the first square bracket always has to be empty. Nikhil says okay. Now, one more thing. What if I remove this? Can I place the values right here? You would have already got the answer because it is not giving the errors. So I'll just show you 1, comma 2, comma 3, 4, 5. Now, do we have to mention the size separately right here? Any one of you? I'm just clearing the doubts that anyone can have while declaring an array. Vineet says yes. Did you say yes, Vineet? I guess that was a previous answer. Yes, case of int we can. Prashant says yes, in case of int we can. I'll place 6. Oh, sorry, not 6. Since it is 5, I'll place 5. So Prashant, did you get your answer? Vineet says I said no. How can you say I'm saying yes? Okay, I'm very sorry for that, Vineet. Abdad says first bracket has to be empty always. Exactly correct, Abdad. First bracket has to be empty as always. Because if you mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this will directly fetch the size of the array. It will get to know that there are 5 elements in it. So you don't have to mention the size of the array. This was the second declaration that you can use. This is the second syntax. Now let's have few questions that I missed in starting. So the question first is, can you all see the question? Okay, the statement I++ is equivalent to, is it the first one, is it the second one, is it the third one or the fourth one? Just have to click on the polling screen and cast your answers. Only 56% of the people have voted. Yes, Sarita, Gulzar. Alia, I didn't get your answer. Okay. Yes, Alia. But I request every one of you to cast your answers on the polling screen. Vineet says bad question, lol. This is just a simple question so that you remember the concept. It is not for you, Vineet, if you know it, but for the people who do not know it, right? Okay then, we have the results. 87% of the people says that the second answer is correct, that is I equals to I plus 1, and 13% says I equal to I plus I. But the correct answer is the second one, that is I equals to I plus 1. It will increment the counter by 1. Okay, now give me the answer to this question. In a group of nested loops, what are nested loops first of all? If don't know, just give the answer. I'll tell you what are nested loops. In a group of nested loops, which loop is executed the most number of times? The outermost loop, the innermost loop, all loops are executed the same number of times or cannot be determined without knowing the size of the loop. Just have to click on the polling screen and cast your answers. So Vineet, is this question good for you? Okay, okay, he says awesome this time. Okay, good. And 13%. Okay, Alia says nested loop. That is, you have one loop and within that you have got another loop. So I'm asking the question is, which loop will be executed the most number of times? Is it the outermost one or the innermost one? All loops will execute the same number or you cannot determine it. Okay, then we have the result. Sarita says the first answer is correct. Okay. 13% says the outermost loop, 47 says the innermost loop, 7% says all loops are executed the same number of times, and 33% says cannot be determined without knowing the size of the array. And the correct answer is the second one. The innermost loop will run the maximum number of times. Now, would you like to see it? Nikhil says best to print the multiplication table. Okay, let us show you a loop. Let's use this one for one. Okay. let's just comment also because I have to send the code. So what I'll do, I'll make another loop for you, and I'll place a comment that is nested loops. So I'll use for loop teacher q equals to 0, q less than 5, and q plus plus. Open the braces. Oops, was confused between outer and inner, Mohsin says. And he says, what if the inner loop condition is false always? If the inner loop condition is false always, why will it run? So it will run exactly the same number of times as the outer loop beneath. So answer is wrong. I'm not talking about the special conditions beneath. Exceptions are always there. So write for again another loop within that, s equals to 0, s less than 5, and s plus plus. So we just need to find the number of counts for them. So I'll define two integer variables again, int int count 1 for the first loop and int count 2 for the second loop. Now there was also one question, that is, if I remove this braces and if I place a semicolon after the for loop, it will work, but it won't be printing anything. You haven't placed anything within that. Okay. Okay. Now what I'll do, count 1 plus plus. I'll initialize them to 1. Our motive is to find which loop runs the most. Okay, here I'll place count 2 plus plus. Prashant says, can we print some text like outer loop or inner loop to get which loop prints more number? Yes, we can do that. Next thing I'll do it for you. Sai says depends on the condition given in the loop, obviously. That's for sure. Exactly, Sai. And this answer was for Vineet from Sai. Okay. Now let us run the code and we'll see what happens. Okay, I didn't print the values. So sorry. System.out. First we'll print count 1. Copying the line. Control C and V. And second we'll print the second one. Let's run it once again. Control F11. 6 and 26. Did you get the answer? That is, second loop is running for so many number of times. I think count should start from 0. Depends. I want to count the number of times. So generally if you start the counting from 1, 2, 3. 1, exactly, he's saying right. We'll be starting with 0. Thanks, Nikhil. Okay, because when we run the loop, we should start counting that this is the first time that loop runs. Okay, so it will be 25 this time. This is why you're receiving 6 and 26. Control F11, 5 and 25. Can't we concatenate the two print statement? Exactly, yes, you can concatenate them. And he's asking why. Sarita says, got it. What about the rest of you? Now Amir is saying concatenate the both results. What I'll do, copy. How to concatenate? Plus sign. And I'll just remove this. Control F11. Okay, it actually added it. Okay, Control F11 once again. Just a minute. What is happening? It is $5.25. Yes, exactly. It is right now. I'll just put some spaces. Control F11. Are you clear, Amir? Vineet says yes. Sarita says got it. Amir says yes, clear. What about the rest of you? All of you write down on the chat window if you are clear with it. In the brackets, you're actually mentioning the string. It could be spaces as well. Mayank, Mani, Hardik, Abdad, Mohsin, say everything says yes. Try for S0, S less than 1, S plus plus. Okay, you want to meet only this change sign. Now shall I run the code for you? Amir says how can we print it? If you want to print it in the next line, then the first time you were doing the same thing, that is print it in another statement. Okay, I'm running the code, control F11. Are you clear now, Sai? Yeah, so it depends on the condition. Exactly, it depends on the condition, but in a general way, when the both the conditions are right, that is both the conditions are same for the loop, the innermost loop will run the most. So someone asks you that in a general term, which loop will run the most, outermost or innermost? So the answer would be innermost always. But after that, if you like to mention, it also depends on the condition. Okay? No, I'm asking when we can it, then at that time how to. This as such, if you want to print in the next line, Sai says yeah thanks, and Amish says if you were concatenating that time, then he wants to print in the next line. As such, there is no such function for that, but there is a property, system dot property. I'm missing some. I'll just try to tell you system dot line separator. Line separator. Okay, so I'll just copy this. Okay, and I'll run the code again, control F11. Am I clear now, Amir? So this is the system property that you use. So I don't think instead of you would like to write the entire command. Okay, Amir says thank you, is understood it. All of you, rest of you, have you understood it? This is actually the new line character that you use in C. Okay, so you just fetch the system line separator. No, no, Prashant. Actually, operators are defined, okay? In different languages, it could be different, right? So that is why I'm directly fetching the system property. It would be same everywhere. Okay? So I hope I'm quite clear to everyone. Now, Mayank, your question, I just recalled your question, that is you wanted to print the star program, right? So for that, you will be actually using the nested loops itself. A loop within a loop, try it and I'm sure you would implement it. That is not so hard. Like this, you already would have got some idea if I print like this. Okay, this way you can implement it. It is quite easy to understand. You'll understand it soon. Is that okay with you, Mayank? Mayank says okay. That's good. Come back here. Now some more examples. Arrays of different types. Okay, and I have already told you that dot length. If you place parenthesis right after the length, it would be wrong. It will give you an error because length is not a function. It is actually a property of an array. So using that property, you fetch the length of that particular array. Okay, so just remember this. Never place the parenthesis after length. Okay, if you want, I can show you. Okay, array list will be in the next classes, so I'll tell you then. Okay. Okay then, I just want to make you remember that your course counselor or the course coordinator is Miss Bhavna, and you can send her emails regarding your queries or queries regarding any other course. Okay, the email ID is bhavna@edureka.in. You can just note it down, and if you want, I'll just send it on your chat windows. Just a minute. It is BHAVNA bhavna@edureka.in, and you can also send your queries on support. That is the technical ones. Vineet says great class. Okay, thank you, Vineet. Forgot about user input. Yes, Sai, I'll just tell you the user input. Thank you. Today Sai has told me many things. Amir says please show the last slide. Alia says learned loops and all. Yes, is that clear to you, Amir? Okay, Amir says thanks a lot. Now for the user input, how to take input from a user. So commenting these lines, Control 7, and commenting the rest of them as well. Okay. Now how to take input from a user. For that you have to make an object for a scanner class. Generalize this classes also, please. Vineet says Android classes. Vineet, I didn't get your question. Android classes. Alia says any tips about the first class. Alia, you would have received the recording. You would have registered for the course as well. So on your email ID, if you just see, you'll find your recording of the class for the first one. Okay. Yes, Vineet, I'm an Android developer. As well as I've got the concepts of Java. And Nikhil, I guess this answers your question as well. I've been working on Android, and Android is a great technology to work on. You'll love it. But for that you need your basics of Java. You should know what is Java. Abdad says, dude, I missed your previous class. What to do now? Abdad, you would have received the recording on your email ID, haven't you? Ali says, how much time will it take to learn Java? Now we'll be completing this course in 4 weeks. Okay, so it will make you that much eligible that you can make a small application. Your concepts of Java would be clear. Okay, so that you can go to the next level. You can prepare yourself to the certification for the certification courses, so that you can go on and learn something more and earn a certificate in Java. Vineet says, is Core.java enough for Android development, or do we need J2ME? Core.java is enough for learning Android, Vineet. Abdad says, I'll check it out. Sure, do that. Alia says, cool. What's the next level? The next level is either do the certification course in Java, or you have got Android to learn. Okay. Option is yours. You can choose any one of the roads. Which Android app you have developed? Okay, I've developed few apps, but these are not yet published on Google Play. Okay, I haven't published them. But my students have developed many apps. That is for sure, and you'll even find them on Google Play. Abdad says, isn't this a certification course? Exactly, this is a certification course, Abdad. You'll be receiving a certificate from Edureka. Okay, it will be a certified course, and that certificate could also be verified from our website, and it will be globally accepted as well. But if I talk about certification, that I'm talking about SCJP course. Okay, that is the Oracle certification. Am I clear now? Mohsin says, how will be the exam taken? Exam, after you complete your course, you'll be receiving the certificate actually. Okay, or we'll just prepare a test paper for you and provide it to you. Okay, it depends on us. By the end of the 4 weeks, we'll decide what has to be done with all of you. Okay. Nikhil says, do Edureka help in placement? Yes, exactly. You can say that we help, we assist. Okay, we do not guarantee any placement, anything, because we are not a placement company. We are actually an educational company. But since we have got contacts in different companies, okay, we have industry experts with us. So we have got contacts in different companies. So we just send resumes of our students or the projects that they develop during the course. We send it to them. If they like it, they call the student for further interviews. There's no, we are not the intermediary one. We just pass it. We just forward your resumes. Okay. Is that clear, Nikhil? We can appear for OCJP after this course. Mayank, this would be a basic course, and for OCJP you need more concept to understand. Okay, so you have to do the OCJP specific course, because since even the paper costs around 10,000, so generally students actually take up a course for clearing that exam, because in that course you also get the simulation test to do. You practice on that. Even we also provide a OCJP course. We provide around 10 simulation tests. You have to work on that regularly, and we'll make you perfect so that you just clear that course. Okay, and it would be our responsibility. Is that clear, Mayank? Amir says, can you please get back to class and learn how to take inputs from user as time is running out? Definitely, Amir. Gulzar says, you people do a great job. Thank you, Gulzar. Now, I was just giving a time because it was also quite necessary to answer each and everyone's question. Now, how to take input. There is a scanner class in Java. Write scanner, define an object, anything, equals to new scanner. Okay, in this you'll be passing the system.in. That means it will be taking an input system.in, and you put a semicolon. This is the syntax for taking inputs. Now whenever you have to, let's say you have to take an input of an integer, so you write int x or any variable int input equals to, use the scanner object user.scanner dot next int. Okay, this is the function. You call it and put a semicolon, so it will ask for your input. So after that, if you want to check it, because this is the first time that you would have seen it, so write system.println. I'll print input. Okay, and if you want to display a message also before that, system.sysout, that is system.println quotes, enter your number. Okay, Mohsin says, can we get car in Java? My friend wants to join, and how can he join? Come to join? Alia says, Alia, send a request on the email ID that I told you, that Bhavna email ID, bhavna@edureka.in. Okay, send a request, send your query. He'll get your answer. Now, if I run the code, control F11, enter your number. Here you can enter the number 5, and I enter 5, 5 gets printed. Are you clear now? Amir, every one of you. Alia says thanks. What about the rest of you? Sarita says yes, clear. You can even take strings like in string string help equals to user scanner dot next. This is for string, and you press this. We want to print it out, system dot out dot println. You can print hell. Okay, when I run this code, control F11, enter your number first of all. So 1, and after that again it will ask, hello there, this is what I wanted to print. Okay, it won't take spaces, it would take only the sentence that is hello. So all of you, please write down on the chat window, are you clear with this? Thanks a lot, Edureka, especially Bhavna and Vineet, Ami says. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Sai says thanks Vineet for the class. Mang says thanks a lot. Abdul says what is data input stream.in? It is also one way using which you can take the inputs. Mayank says class was really awesome. Thank you, Mayank. Okay, Abdad, try it on yourself. If you do not get it, how to do it, I'll tell you. Because in the later classes, I'll be telling you these kind of things. Okay? Try it once and I'll let you know. Okay? The first thing I want you to try. Okay, Vineet says thanking me. I was taking the class. Okay, sir. See you later. Bye, Mohsin says. The class, Umar says. Okay, that's very good. So right after this class, don't forget to fill in the survey, each and every one of you. Okay? Give your comments, give your suggestions, and so that I can improve myself and provide you a better class in the future. I want to show you one more thing, that is the Facebook community that we have developed for you. The name of the community is Edureka Java community right here. Most of you would have received the request. Those of you who haven't received it, maybe you'll be receiving by ourselves, or you can just send us you can just join us, okay? You can add us in your list. So we already have got few students sending us request. Okay, Vineet, I'm joining you right now. Vineet Shaurya. Okay, Mohsin says I joined already. So you have got one more forum right in front of you, one more portal where you can post in your queries and questions, and I'll be there, and many other Java experts will be there to help you out. Okay? Even you can help each other out right here. And I'm sure most of you spend a lot of time on Facebook. So while chatting with other people, you can also do some things like this. Mayank says, please increase the number of unsolved exercises for each module. Okay, Mayank, I'll just note down your suggestion. Prashant says, share FB link here too. I'll just do that if you want to add it. Okay, it's on your chat windows, everyone. Okay, so I need you to actively participate, keep discussing Java right there on Facebook, on this community. Okay, not on my profile, not on this profile, but on the community that is present. Okay. And more quick poll questions in all classes, Abdad says. Okay, Abdad, I'll keep that in mind. Even if I forget, let me remember, okay? Tell me as I told you that there are no questions today, what happened? I'll give you questions there and then. Sometimes I tend to forget those things, but I'll keep in mind next time. Is that clear? Is that okay with you? Okay, now about the assignments and questions the next time, okay? Once you have completed your second class, we'll be unlocking the second module for all of you, but guys, don't hurry up. It will be done by tonight. See it tomorrow morning, you'll find it unlocked. Okay? So it is a request from everyone, that is, I'll be unlocking the assignments for each and every one of you by today, and you will find it unlocked by tomorrow. Even the recording will be sent by tonight. Okay? Okay, Alia says okay, sir. So question and answers already done, and thanks for being here today again. For now, I'll take a leave. Bye bye. Take care, all of you. Don't forget to fill in the survey. Give your comments and suggestions, whatever you want to say. Good, bad, anything. Abdul says add more quick poll questions in all classes. Absolutely, I'll do that for you. For every one of you, that is. Seen sends me a smiley. Amir says take care, sir. Sarita says bye, Vineet. Bye. Sai says yes. Cheers. Kulzar says thank you for being so humble. You're welcome. Okay then, all bye bye, take care, thank you. Vineet says thanks. Wang says bye. Lokesh says thank you, sir. Dad says bye and webinar.